The alien city stretched below them, lights shimmering in colors Lyra had never seen before. From their vantage point on a nearby cliff, she could see the grand towers and bustling streets. It was a city untouched by the Vorvath, a place of hope and safety, or at least, it seemed that way. Ethan crouched beside her, scanning the city with his portable device. We can't just walk in. The Vorvath know we're here. If we move recklessly, they'll catch us before we even reach the gates. Lyra studied the city. Maybe. We don't need to fight them head on. Maybe we can trick them, distract them, and sneak in. Ethan nodded. Exactly. That's the human way. Think differently. Use the environment. Use your enemy's weaknesses against them. The plan was risky. The Vorvath had fortified the city's approaches with energy barriers, patrol drones, and automated defenses. But humans were masters of improvisation, and Ethan was no exception. He used a combination of makeshift devices, holographic decoys, and natural terrain to mislead the enemy. Lyra watched him in amazement. You're unbelievable. No one thinks like you. Ethan shrugged. We survive by thinking differently. Predictable moves get you caught. Humans were unpredictable. The first part of the plan involved drawing out a Vorvath patrol. Ethan set up a small energy pulse near the ridge to mimic movement. Within minutes, the patrol investigated, leaving the path toward the city less guarded. Now, he whispered, we move. Lyra followed him carefully down the cliffside, her heart racing. Every step mattered. The Vorvath could appear at any moment. But Ethan's calm presence gave her courage. She had trusted him through mountains, forests, and molten rivers. Would trust him now as they approached the outer defenses. A squad of Vorvath drones detected movement. They swooped down, sensors glowing red. Ethan reacted instantly, tossing a small device that emitted a blinding flash of light. The drones faltered, giving them just enough time to dart into a side alley. Lyra exhaled, trying to calm her racing heart. Every time we get close, something happens. That's life, Ethan replied. And humans. We adapt. The alley led them to the heart of the city. Lights reflected off crystalline structures, casting rainbow hues across the streets. Alien citizens moved quietly, watching the unusual intruders with curiosity but no hostility. Ethan and Lyra slipped through shadows, careful not to draw attention. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed. The Vorvath had discovered the disruption at the outer gates. Patrols poured into the streets, and energy barriers activated, trapping them in a central plaza. Lyra froze. We're surrounded. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Not yet. Watch and learn. He picked up a loose metal rod from the ground and smashed a control panel nearby. Sparks flew, and a section of the energy barrier flickered. Follow me, shouted. They dashed through the flickering barrier, weaving between alien architecture and startled citizens. Vorvath soldiers fired energy blasts. But Ethan used the environment to his advantage, deflecting beams off metallic surfaces, triggering temporary blockades and creating confusion. Lyra realized something extraordinary. Humans didn't just fight. They invented, improvised, and turned every disadvantage into an opportunity. Where the Vorvath relied on strength and precision, Ethan relied on creativity and courage. And it worked. They reached the central tower, the tallest structure in the city. It was heavily guarded, but Ethan had already calculated the weaknesses in its defenses. Using energy pulses, shadows, and misdirection, they infiltrated the building. With minimal detection, inside the Vorvath commander awaited, a towering figure clad in dark armor. His eyes glowed as he scanned the room, recognizing the human intruder. You dare enter my city? He hissed. Ethan stepped forward calmly. I'm not here to play games. I'm here to stop you and free the princess. The commander laughed. A cold, metallic sound. You, a human? You are weak, predictable, and doomed. Lyra watched as Ethan assessed the room. There were no direct exits, but there were structural weaknesses, support beams, energy conduits, and control panels. He didn't rush. He planned, calculated, and acted with precision. The commander charged, energy weapon raised. Ethan dodged with human agility, luring him toward a weak floor panel. At the right moment, he triggered it. The panel collapsed, sending the commander into a lower chamber. Lyra gasped. "You did it." Ethan didn't pause. "We're not done yet. There are more." The tower's alarms blared, and Vorvath reinforcements poured in. Ethan and Lyra fought as a team. She used her agility and quick thinking to dodge attacks, while Ethan used clever traps and improvisation to incapacitate enemies without unnecessary violence. At one point, a drone hovered above them, ready to fire. Ethan grabbed a reflective panel and angled it perfectly. The drone's own beam hit its sensors, disabling it instantly. Lyra's eyes widened. Humans. They were unpredictable, and that made them unstoppable. Finally, they reached the upper chamber, where the energy core controlling the city's defenses was located. If they could disable it, the city would be safe, and the Vorvath would have no choice but to retreat. Ethan worked quickly, connecting wires, bypassing systems, and using a small pulse emitter to short-circuit the core. Its sparks flew, alarms blared, and the energy barriers flickered and collapsed. The city lights stabilized, signaling victory. Lyra turned to him, eyes shining. "We did it. We really did it." Ethan smiled faintly. "Did it together. It's how humans win. Teamwork, courage, and thinking differently." From the city below, citizens cheered, though quietly, understanding the danger was not fully gone. Vorvath's ships retreated in confusion, unable to understand how their carefully planned defenses had been undone by one human and an alien princess. Lyra looked at Ethan with deep admiration. You're incredible. I've never seen anyone like you." Ethan shook his head. "I'm just human, but humans, we fight when it matters. And sometimes, that's all it takes to turn the tide." Lyra thought of her mother, waiting in the palace. Soon, she promised herself, she would see her again. And when that day came, it would be because of Ethan, this brave, clever, unstoppable human. As the twin suns set, casting golden light across the city, Ethan and Lyra prepared to leave the tower. The path home was finally within reach. The Vorvath were defeated, at least for now, and the alien princess was free. But more than that, a bond had formed, one between human courage and alien resilience. One that no enemy, no technology, no obstacle could ever break. And as they descended toward the city streets, ready to return to Queen Leora, Lyra whispered quietly, almost to herself, "We're going home." Thanks to him, Ethan glanced. Otterin nodded. "Yes, and nothing will stop us now." The city shimmered below them, safe for the first time in weeks. And high above, the stars sparkled, as if celebrating the courage of one human who dared to challenge the impossible and the alien princess who trusted him. The twin sons of Zithara cast long shadows across the palace as Ethan and Lyra approached the grand gates. After days of perilous travel, dangerous terrain, and relentless Vorvath pursuit, they were finally home. From fear this time, but from anticipation. This is it," she whispered, her eyes fixed on the massive palace ahead. Its crystalline towers reflected the sunlight, and the royal banners fluttered in the gentle wind. Queen Leora waited inside. Unaware that her daughter was alive and returning, Ethan glanced at Lyra. "Stay close," he said. "We don't know what surprises might be waiting." Lyra nodded, though she felt a deep confidence now. She had survived capture, escaped the Vorvath, and crossed alien worlds with Ethan. She knew they could face anything together as they entered the palace gates. Guards approached, eyes wide in recognition. The queen had alerted the city to watch for intruders, fearing the worst for her daughter. But when they saw the small, exhausted figure following a tall, calm human soldier, their expressions shifted from caution to shock. Lyra ran forward, tears forming in her eyes. "Mom!" Queen Leora emerged from the palace balcony, her regal presence radiating even as fear and hope battled in her eyes. When she saw Lyra, her breath caught. "Lyra, is it really you?" Lyra didn't stop running. "I'm back, Mom. You saved me," she cried, throwing herself into her mother's arms. Ethan stayed back, silent, watching the reunion. He knew this was a moment for mother and daughter, but he also felt pride, human pride, for what he had done. It helped, guided, and protected. And now the queen's daughter was safe. Queen Leora held Lyra tightly, tears streaming down her face. "Oh, my child, I feared the worst. I prayed for your safety every moment." Lyra pulled back slightly to look at Ethan, her eyes shining. "It was him, Mom. He saved me. Without him, I don't know if I would be here." The queen turned her gaze toward Ethan, taking in his tall frame, the calm confidence in his posture, and the determination that had carried her daughter through impossible dangers. For a moment, there was silence. Then slowly, she bowed slightly. "You are a human?" she asked, voice filled with awe. Ethan nodded. "Yes, Your Majesty. Sergeant Ethan. I am honored to serve." Queen Leora's eyes softened. "You are more than that. You are a hero, not just of my daughter, but of our people. You have shown courage, wisdom, and heart that goes beyond any weapon or technology." Lyra smiled, stepping closer to Ethan. "I owe you my life," she said simply. Ethan shook his head. "No, you saved yourself too. I just helped. Humans, we do what we can when it matters." The queen smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "Humans, yes, I see now. Brave, clever, unstoppable when guided by heart. You have brought hope where there was despair." Suddenly, the palace gates opened wide. Citizens, soldiers, and advisors gathered, their expressions a mix of astonishment and joy. News had spread. Princess Lyra had returned, and a human had led her back safely. Murmurs of admiration and respect rippled through the crowd. Lyra took her mother's hand. "We should honor him, Mom. He deserves it more than anyone." Queen Leora turned to Ethan. "You will be recognized. You will be remembered as the hero who defied impossible odds to save my daughter. Your courage will inspire generations, human and alien alike." Ethan felt a warm pride swell in his chest. Humans were rarely celebrated outside their own worlds. Yet here on this alien planet, his actions had bridged to civilizations. "I thank you, Your Majesty," he said humbly. The queen raised her hand. "Let it be known that Sergeant Ethan of the human race is honored this day. He has shown the galaxy that bravery, heart, and intelligence are not bound by species. From this moment forward, humans are recognized as allies, protectors, and heroes of Zythera." The crowd erupted in cheers. Lyra laughed, tears still her eyes, and hugged Ethan briefly. "Even the queen agrees. You're amazing." Ethan smiled faintly. "I'm just a human," he replied, though his heart felt proud. "But humans? We fight when it matters." The palace celebrated. Feasts were prepared, lights shimmered across the crystalline towers, and stories of courage and bravery filled the air. Lyra stayed close to her mother, recounting every detail of her escape, every danger they had faced, and every moment Ethan had protected her. Queen Leora listened intently, marveling at the ingenuity, determination, and bravery of this human soldier. "You have changed everything," she said to Ethan. "Not just for my daughter, but for all of Zythera. You have shown that even in the darkest times, hope survives." Ethan shrugged. "I only did what anyone would do for someone in need." Lyra looked at him, eyes sparkling. "No, not anyone. Humans rarely do what you did. You risked everything. You are exceptional." Ethan felt a warmth he had never felt before, deep connection, respect, and trust from an alien princess and her mother. It was a feeling humans rarely experienced outside their own world. And yet it was simple: courage, heart, and doing the right thing. Over the next few days, Lyra recovered fully. She spent time with her mother, sharing laughter, tears, and stories of the human who had saved her. Queen Leora ensured that Ethan was recognized formally, given the highest honors, and offered a place among the royal council as an honorary protector of the planet. Ethan declined the permanent position, preferring to return to his people eventually. But he promised to remain an ally, a friend, and a protector when needed. Humans had earned respect, and he had proven that courage was universal, transcending species. As he prepared to leave, Lyra hugged him tightly. "Thank you for everything. You are my hero." Ethan smiled, a faint blush coloring his cheeks. "We survived together. That's the real story." Queen Leora stepped forward, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Know this, human. You will forever be remembered in Zithra's history. Your bravery, your wisdom, and your heart have changed the fate of our people." Ethan nodded. "Then I'll carry that honor with me wherever I go." As the twin suns set over the crystalline towers, Lyra and her mother watched Ethan depart. The bond between human and alien, forged in danger, trust, and courage, would last forever. And though their paths might separate, the story of bravery, ingenuity, and heart would echo across galaxies, a true HFY tale. Lyra whispered to her mother, tears of joy in her eyes. "I'm back, Mom. I'm alive because of him. Queen." Leora smiled, holding her daughter close. "Yes, my child. Thanks to him, hope and courage have returned to Zithra." And far above, the stars shone brighter, as if celebrating the heroism of one human who dared to defy the impossible and the bond between two worlds that would never forget his courage. The galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary. Human ingenuity, bravery, and heart triumphing against impossible odds. And Zithra would forever remember the day a human soldier saved a princess and, in doing so, united worlds. The galaxy was quiet in some places, but in others, it raged with endless conflict. Star systems burned in battles between alien factions, and humans had recently become a new force in this cosmic struggle.
Captain Aaron.
Vance sat alone in the cockpit of his starship, scanning the map of the sector before him. His mission was unlike any he had ever faced. The Zerithian queen had sent a message through encrypted channels. Her daughter, Princess Leora, had been missing for years. Kidnapped. As a child by a rival alien faction, the princess had vanished into the far reaches of the galaxy. Queen Elira's voice, calm but heavy with sorrow, had reached Aaron through the translator. "Captain Vance, you are our only hope. Find my daughter. Bring her back." Aaron leaned back in his seat, rubbing the bridge of his nose. He'd faced impossible odds before, but rescuing a young alien princess from the depths of enemy territory was not a simple matter of shooting or strategy. It required patience, intelligence, and most importantly, trust, something aliens rarely gave to humans. Yet, if anyone could succeed, it was him. He thought about what made humans different. Unlike the rigid hierarchies of many alien races, humans were flexible, creative, and daring. These qualities often gave them an edge. He smiled faintly. Maybe that was why the Queen had chosen him, a human, for this mission. Aaron's ship, the Horizon Vanguard, glided silently through space, its dark hull reflecting distant stars. The coordinates he had were incomplete, fragments of an ancient star map that supposedly led to the last known location of Princess Leora. The map had been encoded in an alien dialect, and Aaron had spent days decoding it. Now the pieces formed. A clear path to a remote planet on the edge of Zerithian-controlled space, a place few dared to go. He activated the ship's navigation system. The planet was called Cathar, a rugged world covered in jagged mountains, deep forests, and violent storms. Local satellites detected heavy enemy patrols in the area, making a direct landing impossible. Aaron frowned. This would require careful planning and a lot of improvisation. As he prepared his equipment, a soft voice spoke from the communication panel. "Captain Vance, you're taking on a high-risk mission," said Lieutenant Mara, his second in command. "Are you sure you want to go through with this?" Aaron did not hesitate. "Yes, someone has to do it. If I can bring Leora back to her mother, it will mean more than just completing a mission. This could change the course of the war, maybe. Even start a new alliance." Mara nodded silently. She had seen Aaron in action before and trusted his instincts. He was not just a soldier. He was someone who understood that victory was about more than firepower. It was about people, their hearts, and their hope. As the ship approached Cathar, Aaron studied the planet's surface through the viewport. Storm clouds swirled over massive mountain ranges, and rivers of molten rock glowed faintly in the darkness. The enemy had built a fortress on the highest peak, surrounded by laser turrets and drones that scanned constantly for intruders. Aaron's plan was simple in theory, but difficult in execution. He would land the ship on a hidden plateau far from the fortress, then travel on foot, avoiding patrols and traps. The princess could be anywhere inside, or even move to another location. Every moment counted. He suited up in his combat armor, the human standard, light, flexible, but durable. Unlike most alien designs, it allowed maximum movement and quick adaptation. Every piece of equipment had a purpose energy blaster, medkit, hacking device, and a portable cloaking field. Humans had learned to survive in environments where pure strength or advanced technology alone was not enough. "Ready?" Mara asked, her voice tense but steady. Aaron nodded. "Always." The Horizon Vanguard descended into the atmosphere, piercing the storm. Lightning crackled across the clouds as the ship's engines roared. Aaron felt a surge of adrenaline. This was no ordinary mission. The fate of a princess, the hope of a queen, and the chance to prove human courage all rested on his shoulders. He landed on the hidden plateau and stepped out. The wind was harsh, filled with icy rain, but Aaron moved carefully. His boots made little sound on the rocky ground. He activated the cloaking field, which shimmered faintly around him, making him nearly invisible to enemy sensors. Hours passed as he navigated the treacherous terrain. He encountered alien wildlife, creatures with sharp claws and glowing eyes. Some were predators, others were territorial herbivores. Aaron's human ingenuity came into play. He used light, sound, and traps to avoid confrontations. Each challenge reminded him why humans had survived against overwhelming odds for millennia. Finally, after days of careful travel, Aaron reached the base of the fortress. He crouched behind a jagged rock, studying the security patterns. Laser. Turrets rotated slowly, scanning for movement. Guards patrolled in pairs, communicating with alien devices Aaron did not fully understand. Yet he noticed patterns, rhythms in their behavior. This was something humans excelled at, noticing subtle details and exploiting them. Using a combination of stealth, distraction, and clever timing, Aaron began his infiltration. He used the portable cloaking field to slip past sensors, then activated a device that mimicked alien communication signals, causing guards to investigate false alerts. Every step brought him closer to the princess, in a small chamber deep within the fortress. Aaron found traces of Leora's presence, a piece of jewelry, a worn cloak, and alien inscriptions on the wall. He paused, studying them. She had been here, and she had left clues, perhaps unintentionally. A sudden noise made him freeze. Footsteps approached. Ren held his breath, pressing against the wall. 2 guards passed by, oblivious to his presence. Once they were gone, he continued, moving deeper into the labyrinthine corridors. Finally, he reached a locked door marked with alien symbols. He examined the locking mechanism. Standard brute force wouldn't work. It was a complex security device. Aaron smiled faintly. Humans often succeeded where brute strength failed. He pulled out his hacking device and worked quickly, using logic and intuition to bypass the alien technology. Sparks flew, lights blinked, and then the door slid open silently. Inside, the room was dimly lit. At the far end, a figure huddled. In the corner, her long hair covering her face, she was small, fragile-looking, but Aaron sensed strength beneath her fear. His heart tightened. Princess Leora had grown into a young woman, and yet the years of captivity had left her wary and cautious. "Hello," Aaron said softly, keeping his hands visible. "My name is Captain Aaron Vance. I'm here to help you." The girl froze. Her eyes, large and luminous in the dim light, widened in fear. She spoke in a language Aaron only partially understood. He activated the universal translator. "I'm here to take you home," he said gently. "To your mother. You're safe with me." Tears welled in her eyes. She had dreamed of freedom for so long, but trusting anyone, especially a human, was difficult. Yet there was something in Aaron's calm, unwavering voice, something that reminded her of hope. After a tense moment, she nodded slightly. Aaron extended his hand. "Can I help you stand?" Slowly she rose. It was fragile, but her movements showed discipline and resilience. Aaron knew she had survived harsh conditions for years. The galaxy had tried to break her, but humans had. A saying, strength comes from survival, courage, and hope. He felt that in her, and it made him proud. As they prepared to leave, Aaron's communicator buzzed. Mara's voice came through, calm but firm. Captain, enemy reinforcements are approaching. You need to move now. Aaron nodded. Understood. We're on our way. He led the princess through hidden passages, evading patrols and traps. The journey back to the ship would be dangerous, but he had done worse. The human ability to improvise, adapt, remain calm under pressure was exactly what this mission needed. Finally, after tense hours of stealth and careful movement, they emerged on the plateau where the Horizon Vanguard waited. The ships. Engines hummed, ready to carry them away. The storm above raged, but inside Aaron felt a quiet triumph. They had succeeded in finding her. The hardest part was over, but the journey back to her mother had only just begun. As Aaron helped Leora into the ship, he looked at her and smiled. We're going home, he said. The words were simple, but in them was the weight of hope, courage, and the human spirit. The ship lifted off, leaving the stormy planet behind. Aaron stared at the stars ahead, thinking of Queen Alira waiting for her daughter. He felt a surge of determination. Humans were not the strongest in the galaxy, nor the fastest, but their courage, intelligence, and compassion could achieve the impossible, and this mission would prove it. The adventure was just beginning. The Horizon Vanguard cut through space like a silver arrow, carrying Captain Aaron Vance and Princess Leora away from the stormy planet of Cathar. Outside, lightning still danced across the clouds below, but inside, the cabin was calm. Leora sat quietly, her knees pulled to her chest, staring at the stars. Aaron observed her from the pilot's seat, noting the mixture of fear, curiosity, and something deeper, hope. It had been hours since he first saw her face, the long-lost daughter of the Zerithian queen. The enormity of the moment still resonated in him. He had succeeded where many had failed. But the mission was far from over. Getting Leora back to her mother alive, unscathed and unbroken, was the real challenge. Princess Leora, Aaron said gently, I know this is a lot to take in, but you're safe now. We have to get you home. Leora's voice was barely a whisper. I don't know if I can trust anyone. Aaron nodded. Humans were different, he thought. Trust was earned, not demanded, and he would earn it. I understand. You don't have to trust me yet. Just follow my lead, and I promise. I won't let anything happen to you. She studied him for a long moment, then slowly nodded. Her eyes were wide, and he could see a flicker of relief, fragile but real. The first challenge came quickly. Long-range sensors on the ship detected several enemy patrol ships converging on Cathar. They were faster and more numerous, but Aaron was confident in human adaptability. We've got company, he said to Leora, though he tried to keep his voice calm. Don't worry, I've dealt with worse. He maneuvered the Horizon Vanguard through the thick storm clouds surrounding the planet. Lightning flashed dangerously close, but the ship's reinforced hull and Aaron's expert piloting kept them safe. He activated the ship's stealth mode, reducing its visibility on enemy sensors. Despite the danger, Leora's curiosity broke through her fear. What is that light? She asked, pointing to a swirling storm far below. That, Aaron said with a faint smile. That's nature. Even in a galaxy filled with war, there's beauty. Storms like this remind us humans to keep moving forward, no matter what's in front of us. Double quotes, Liora, seemed to consider this. She had been taken from her home at a young age, taught that the galaxy was cruel and unforgiving. Aaron's words were foreign but comforting. Perhaps, she thought, humans were not as weak or careless as her captors had claimed. The ship's sensors beeped urgently. A squad of enemy fighters had intercepted them near the edge of Cathar's atmosphere. Aaron's hands tightened on the controls. Fighting them head-on would be risky. Leora's safety was the priority. He activated an evasive program. weaving the ship through asteroid fields and debris in ways that surprised the enemy. Human pilots were unpredictable, adaptive, and fearless. When necessary, one by one, the enemy ships collided with asteroids or were forced to break off pursuit. Aaron allowed himself a small, private smile. Humanity's ingenuity had once again turned the tide. Hours later, as the Horizon Vanguard cleared Kethar's orbit, Aaron allowed Leora a chance to ask questions. Why? Why are humans involved in Zarathian affairs? She asked. Aaron considered. This we fought in many places, seen many worlds. Humans are curious. We care about others, even when it's not our fight. And we fight to protect what is right. Your mother asked for help? I could not say no. Leora's eyes softened. She had believed all humans were reckless soldiers, only concerned with conquest. But this one, he was different, compassionate, brave, determined. She realized that maybe humans had something her own people lacked: a willingness to risk everything for someone else. Their journey was not without further peril. Days passed, and the farther they traveled, the more dangerous the space lanes became. Smugglers, mercenaries, and pirate fleets lurked in uncharted sectors. Aaron relied on human intuition and tactical skill to navigate through the dangers, using both diplomacy and stealth when necessary. At one point, they encountered a massive asteroid field blocking their route. Sensors showed enemy drones hiding within the rocks. Aaron calculated the safest path, then manually piloted through narrow channels, dodging massive boulders. Leora clung to her seat, her heart pounding. You humans are fearless, she whispered, awed. Aaron chuckled softly. You have to be. Sometimes it's the only way to survive. During quieter moments, Aaron explained the plan. They would travel to a neutral system first, where they could resupply and rest. Then they would make a final jump to Zerithia, the Queen's homeworld. Leora listened carefully, asking questions about human customs, their ships, and their ways of thinking. Aaron answered patiently, recognizing how important it was to show her that humans were more than just soldiers. They were problem solvers, thinkers, and compassionate beings. One evening, as they drifted through a field of glowing nebula gas, Leora asked the question Aaron had been expecting, but had not yet heard. Do you think I'll ever see my mother again? Aaron looked at her carefully. The nebula's light painted their faces in shades of pink and gold. Yes, he said firmly. I promise. I will get you to her, no matter what it takes. Tears welled in Leora's eyes. She had spent years imagining this moment, but never dared to hope it would truly come. Now, sitting beside a human, she felt something she had not felt in a long time: faith. Their brief moment of calm ended abruptly. Sensors detected an approaching capital ship, a massive warship bristling with weaponry. It was likely sent by the faction that had kidnapped Leora. Aaron's mind raced. A direct fight would risk too much. He needed a plan that relied on human ingenuity rather than brute force, using the asteroid debris from a nearby belt. He plotted a course that would hide them in the gas clouds, masking their energy signature. The enemy ship, unable to detect them, would pass by while Aaron calculated a safe escape route. Hold on tight, he warned Leora, as the ship began a rapid maneuver. Lightning from the nebula illuminated their path, creating shadows across the cockpit. Leora's small hands gripped the armrests, but she trusted him. Aaron's strategy worked perfectly. The capital ship passed, unaware of their presence. Leora exhaled in relief, and Aaron allowed himself a small smile. Humans were often underestimated by other species, but their adaptability and courage always gave them an advantage. During the next stretch of their journey, Aaron allowed Leora to explore the ship. She marveled at the technology, especially the medical bay and life support systems. For the first time, she felt a sense of comfort and security, knowing that humans cared not only about fighting, but also about life. Your people could learn something from this, she said softly. Looking around the small room, Aaron smiled. Maybe humans just see the value in every life. Days passed, and trust between them grew. Leora shared stories of her childhood, the loneliness, and the moments of fear during her captivity. Aaron listened patiently, never judging, only offering reassurance. He understood that human empathy was a strength, something that could reach across species and heal wounds that time alone could not. As they approached the neutral system, Aaron received a distressing signal. Pirates had captured a convoy nearby. Without hesitation, he altered course to assist. Leora questioned the decision. "Why risk it?" she asked. Aaron's eyes were steady. "Because it's the right thing to do. Humans fight not just for ourselves, but for those who cannot fight for themselves. And because helping others makes it more likely we'll survive together." The rescue was tense but successful. Using clever tactics, Aaron bypassed pirate shields, disabled their engines, and freed the convoy. Leora watched in awe, realizing the depth of human courage and ingenuity. Finally, they arrived at the neutral system. Aaron allowed Leora to rest in the ship's quarters while he negotiated for fuel, food, and temporary shelter. During this time, Leora's fear began to fade, replaced by admiration and trust. She had seen the human capacity for courage, intelligence, and compassion in action. She realized that humans were not just warriors, they were heroes in ways her people had never understood. That night, as the stars glittered outside the ship, Leora spoke quietly to Aaron. "Thank you," she said. I think I can trust you now." Aaron smiled. "That's all I needed. Rest now. Tomorrow, we continue our journey home. Soon, you'll see your mother." For the first time in years, Leora allowed herself to hope. And Aaron, the human soldier, felt a deep sense of purpose. He had found her, protected her, and now he was guiding her home. Humans were small in the galaxy compared to the alien empires, but their courage, adaptability, and compassion could achieve the impossible. The journey ahead was still dangerous. Enemy forces would continue to pursue them, and the final jump to Zarathea would be the most challenging yet. But together, human and princess, they would face it all. And with each passing moment, the bond between them grew, a bond built on trust, bravery, and the enduring strength of the human spirit as the Horizon Vanguard prepared for the next leg of its journey. Aaron glanced at Leora. She was finally beginning to believe that she would see her mother again, and he was determined to make sure. That belief became reality. The adventure was far from over, but the seeds of hope had been planted. The neutral system shimmered with colors that made the Horizon Vanguard appear tiny against the backdrop of countless stars. Captain Aaron Vance kept a careful eye on the sensors while Princess Leora explored the ship, learning about the human technology that had already saved her life more than once. But Aaron knew the hardest part of their journey was still ahead: Zarithia's. Zarithia's coordinates were locked deep within enemy territory. Rival factions had learned that the Queen's daughter was alive, and now every sector they passed through could harbor spies, mercenaries, or bounty hunters. Aaron ran simulations in his mind, plotting multiple escape routes and backup plans. Humans were often underestimated, he thought, but their ability to adapt, improvise, take calculated risks gave them an edge in situations like this. "Princess, I need you to stay close," Aaron said. "Once we reach Zarithian space, things could get dangerous. You've been hidden from this world for too long. You'll need to move carefully." Leora nodded. She had grown stronger in recent days, but fear lingered in the back of her mind. The galaxy was unpredictable, and humans, though brave, were foreign to her. Could she trust this one? She looked at him, remembering how he had saved her from Cathar's fortress, how he had guided her through storms and pirates. Somehow, against all odds, she felt she could. Their route took them near a war-torn asteroid belt, a place rumored to be a hideout for a dangerous faction. Sensors picked up movement stealth ships lurking among the jagged rocks. Aaron's jaw tightened. He had to move carefully. "Hold on," he said to Leora. The ship weaved through the rocks, dodging enemy sensors with human ingenuity and precise calculations. Lasers cut across the rocks, narrowly missing the ship. Leora clutched her seat, amazed and frightened. She had never seen anything like this, never thought humans could survive such a gauntlet as they emerged from the asteroid belt. Aaron allowed himself a brief sigh of relief, but there was no time to relax. He scanned the nearby systems and found an abandoned space station. It wasn't much, but it would allow them to rest, repair minor damage, and plan the final leg of their journey. Inside the station, Aaron set up temporary defenses. Leora wandered cautiously, observing the remnants of alien technology scattered across the corridors. She noticed walls etched with symbols of hope and survival messages left by previous inhabitants. It reminded her of her own time in captivity, where even small acts of defiance and hope could survive. Humans leave messages too, Aaron said when he noticed her gaze. Stories, notes, signs. We like to remind ourselves of what matters, even when things are hard. Leora looked at him, a faint smile forming. You are different from what I imagined. You don't just fight. You care. Aaron nodded, feeling a rare warmth in his chest. He had never considered himself a hero, but moments like these reminded him why humans persevered in the galaxy. Not because of strength alone, but because they cared about each other, and sometimes even those from other worlds. The next day, sensors detected movement from nearby space lanes. Scouts, likely sent by the faction that had kidnapped Leora, were closing in. Aaron knew a direct confrontation would be risky. They could be outnumbered and outgunned. Instead, he plotted a subtle approach, using decoy transmissions and clever navigation through asteroid clusters. He led the scouts away from their station. Humans are clever, Leora whispered, watching the enemy ships disappear. I've never seen such skill. Aaron allowed himself a small smile. Sometimes brains matter more than weapons. With the immediate danger avoided, Aaron prepared the ship for the jump to Zerithian space. Leora watched him, noticing how calm and precise he was even under pressure. She realized that humans thrived in situations where others might panic. Their courage wasn't reckless, it was deliberate and disciplined. The jump through hyperspace was uneventful, giving Leora a chance to reflect on the journey. She thought of her mother, the Queen, who must have waited years for her return. And she thought of Aaron, the human who had risked everything to find her. A sense of gratitude and trust grew inside her, slowly replacing the fear and suspicion that had defined her life. When they emerged from hyperspace, Zerithia's planet came into view. It was magnificent, with vast oceans, floating cities, and towering spires of alien architecture. But the Queen's palace was heavily guarded, and enemy forces were near. Aware that the princess was returning, Aaron kept the ship low, using the terrain and cloaking technology to avoid detection. Every movement was calculated. Leora clutched the side of the ship, her pulse quickening. It's beautiful, she murmured, but her eyes reflected anxiety and dangerous. Yes, Aaron said softly, but this is your home. Soon you'll see your mother. The ship landed on a hidden plateau near the palace, away from prying eyes. Aaron helped Leora out, scanning for patrols. The terrain was rugged, but they moved with caution, using shadows and natural cover. Humans were known for improvisation, and Aaron's experience in alien terrains gave them an advantage. As they approached the palace gates, a patrol spotted them. Aaron quickly assessed the situation. Frontal confrontation could alert the entire city. He activated a series of quick maneuvers, ducking behind walls and using stealth technology to confuse the guards. Leora followed closely, trusting his judgment. After tense moments, they reached a secluded courtyard inside the palace grounds. Aaron paused, signaling her to stop. We're close, he whispered. Stay calm. Your mother is waiting. Leora's heart raced. She had dreamed of this moment for years, but never truly believed it would come. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. Aaron placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. You're ready, he said simply. They moved together through the palace, avoiding patrols and alarms. Leora's anticipation grew with each step, her emotions a mix of excitement, fear, and longing. She remembered her childhood, the warmth of her mother's embrace, and the harsh years of separation. Finally, they reached the grand doors of the Queen's chamber. Leora froze, her hand trembling as she reached for the handle. Aaron's eyes met hers, silently giving her courage. Go on, he said softly. This is your moment. The doors opened, revealing Queen Illyra standing tall, her eyes filled with a mix of hope, fear, and disbelief. When she saw Leora, her knees nearly gave out. Leora, she whispered, stepping forward. Mom, Leora said, her voice breaking. She ran into her mother's arms, and for the first time in years, the two embraced. Tears streamed down their faces. Aaron watched from a distance, feeling a profound sense of fulfillment. Humans were often underestimated, but their courage, adaptability, and empathy had made this reunion possible. The queen pulled back slightly, still holding her daughter. "I cannot believe you're really here," she said, her voice choked with emotion. Leora smiled through tears, nodding. Aaron stepped forward, bowing slightly. "Your Majesty, it's an honor to have served in your daughter's rescue." The queen looked at him, her expression a mixture of gratitude and respect. "You have done more than I could have imagined. You are truly remarkable, a human of great courage." Leora squeezed her mother's hand. "Mom, I'm back," she said, the words carrying the weight of years lost and hope regained. The reunion was more than a personal victory. It was a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and compassion. Aaron had not only rescued a princess, he had restored hope to a grieving queen, and strengthened the bonds between humans and Zerithians. Later, as the palace guards secured the area, Leora and her mother spoke quietly, catching up on lost years. Aaron watched from the doorway, allowing them privacy. He knew the galaxy was vast, and the challenges were far from over. But for this moment, humanity had triumphed, not through dominance, but through bravery, cleverness, and care. The stage was set for a new alliance, one forged by trust, courage, and the unyielding spirit of a human soldier. Leora had returned home, and in doing so, had proven that sometimes the smallest actions, a patient word, a clever plan, a willing heart could change the fate of worlds. As the night settled over Zerithia, Aaron felt a quiet satisfaction. Humans had survived in the galaxy for countless reasons, but above all, it was their spirit, their willingness to risk everything for the right cause that made them heroes. And tonight, that heroism had reunited a mother and daughter, fulfilling a promise made across the stars. But even as celebrations began, Aaron knew this was not the end. There would be new challenges, new enemies, and new missions. Yet he was ready. Humans were built for the impossible, and with courage and heart, they could face anything. For now, though, he allowed himself a moment to witness the joy he had. Helped create the joy of a mother and daughter reunited, of hope restored, and of the human spirit shining brightly across the stars.